Galileo Galilei, The Trial of the Telescope, 1633. The room was silent except for the faint ticking of a clock. Before a panel of cardinals and judges stood an old man with weary eyes, his hands trembling, not from fear, but from age. His name was Galileo Galilei, and the year was 1633. He was 69, nearly blind, and standing trial before the Roman Inquisition, accused of heresy for daring to say that the earth moves around the sun. It had been 90 years since Copernicus's De Revolutionibus had whispered a dangerous idea into the world. But Galileo did not whisper, he shouted it through glass and mathematics. In 1609, when he lifted his handmade telescope toward the heavens, the universe changed forever. Through that narrow tube of glass, he saw what no man had ever seen: mountains on the moon, spots on the sun, and moons orbiting Jupiter. The heavens were not perfect and unchanging as Aristotle had taught. They were wild, dynamic, alive. He wrote with excitement, calling his discoveries a message from God written in the language of mathematics. But his message had consequences. The Church, still reeling from the Reformation and fearful of losing its authority, could not allow the heavens to be redrawn. Scripture said the earth was immovable. How could it now be spinning through space? To question that was to question divine order itself. In 1616, Galileo was warned to stay silent. He obeyed, for a time. But his mind would not rest. He returned to his studies, his pen, and his telescope. By 1632, he published his masterpiece, Dialogue Concerning the Two Chief World Systems. It was a conversation between three characters, one defending the old Earth-centered model, one supporting the sun-centered view, and one moderating between them. The man defending the Church's view was named Simplicio, the simpleton. The Church saw the insult immediately. Summoned to Rome, Galileo faced the Inquisition. For weeks, he was interrogated, sometimes gently, sometimes with threats of torture. The cardinals demanded he recant, to deny what his eyes and instruments had shown him. At last, broken and frail, he knelt. With sincere heart and unfeigned faith, he said, "I abjure, curse, and detest the errors of the Copernican heresy." They spared his life, but condemned his mind. He was sentenced to house arrest for life, his books banned, his name disgraced. Legend says that as he rose, Galileo whispered, "I peresse I move." And yet it moves. The phrase may be myth, but its spirit is truth. In the years that followed, confined to his villa in Arcetri, Galileo continued to write in secret, on motion, on gravity, on the mathematics of falling bodies. His work would inspire Isaac Newton, who would later say, "If I have seen further, it is by standing on the shoulders of giants." When Galileo died in 1642, the world was already moving toward a new dawn. The Church's power would wane, and science would rise, not as its enemy, but as another path toward understanding creation. The trial of Galileo was more than the punishment of a man. It was the trial of curiosity itself. But truth, like the earth, cannot be still. It turns quietly, eternally, no matter who demands it stop.